Hello and welcome to the Eldritch Podblast. I am Mags.
I am Jack.
And we are a Dungeons & Dragons social commentary podcast. We focus on the social aspect of D&D.
We give out advice to dungeon masters and players, old and new.
But most importantly, we believe in creating a safe, inclusive, and welcome space.
So if that sounds good to you, welcome in.
Hi. Oh gosh, hey, look, setting up for this was not good today.
No?
No, not gonna lie.
It wasn't the best. We unplugged something down there to plug in the iPad, and then when we plugged something in down there, the audio stopped working. We were like, why is the audio stopped working? And neither of us could figure out the fact that it was plugged in.
Yep.
It was plugged into the thing that we unplugged.
It wasn't plugged in. I think that was the actual fact.
Yeah, no, but it was plugged into the thing that we unplugged to plug to plug the iPad in.
So we're here.
But we're here.
We're filming 2 days late as well. Not that it matters to you. But yes. Hello, I'm glad we made it. I'm glad we're here. Oh my gosh, we have a huge thank you to say to everyone who donated to the AC fund. Hey, last time we saw you here, we had just put up a fundraiser for a Gassy Gang one-shot so we could get an AC unit for this room for when we play D&D. For the Ascension of Faradar, our actual play. And we were like, we don't really know if it's going to be
funded by the time this video goes live.
Yeah.
It was funded 2 days before. Yeah. It was funded 20 minutes after the stream started, of course.
Hey, naturally. Oh my gosh.
How dare you do that to Victor? No. How dare you do that to Funko Pop Victor?
Oh my God. Hey, more on him in a little bit. But it was fully funded in 20 minutes. Yeah. So, oh my gosh.
It's right
Thank you so much. You know what? It came at a perfect time. It didn't come in time for when we had to film
on the Sunday,
which is normally the day we don't film.
Yeah.
And we both me and Josh threw up because it was way too.
Look, I'm taking Funko Pop Victor away.
Oh.
You're too handsy. I'm taking Funko Pop Victor away. He's mine for the foreseeable, and when you want to talk about him, I'll give him back.
Because it was so warm, but we had, I think, the hottest day we've had so far over that weekend.
It was like 29 degrees. And we were locked in this room. We had the lights on.
My gosh.
Matthew brought a really big fan, which would have been absolutely perfect to cool the room down, but it was so loud.
We couldn't hear
what each other was saying. So, it wasn't good. And we had to have it's the shortest session of Varadar so far because it was too warm.
Is it out at the... No, it's going to be out
this Thursday.
Yeah, this Saturday for YouTube. You'll see. I think it's 3 hours-ish?
Yeah, 3 hours-ish.
Because we just had to cut it short. So I cannot stress enough how much having this AC unit... Well, we had the weekend. We had it over the weekend. And the help it gave us over the weekend
when we were just
was
streaming.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we popped it on the, I'm pretty sure it was the Tuesday or Tuesday or Monday of this week when it was still really hot.
It was 30 degrees.
But it really helped us in here when we were streaming. It felt so good to just get blasted with cold air, and it cooled the room down so much.
It really did.
It helped the dog,
It really helped the dog, yeah.
We've got an old boy over here.
Yeah.
And not a big fan of the heat.
No.
He deals with it pretty well. He just gets really lazy when the heat's out. He's pretty lazy anyway.
Yeah.
But when it's really hot, he is just flat out.
He's right there. He's looking real cute and real sweet
now.
He's really
sweepy over there.
But thank you
thank you
so much to everyone who donated to it. We had a talk with the gang and they all agreed to do the Gassy Gang one shot.
Yeah.
And we said, when do we think the best time to do it is? Because in the actual play where we're at now, we're in an area called Caligo, which has loads of things going on.
Yeah.
We were like, we can either do it after we wrap up everything in Caligo, or we could wait till October and wait to Halloween and do a spooky thing because the Gassy Gang lean really well to it. Yeah. And I think everyone is really keen on doing a Halloween thing.
And I think that is the play. I think, we've asked everyone as well.
Yeah.
And everyone on stream said Halloween. Yeah. And I think it'd just be loads of fun to do Halloween.
Yeah, we could deck the set out.
We could do something real
on the wall
put some cobwebs up and stuff like that. And
So I think the Gassy Gang one shot is definitely happening, and I think it's going to be in and around October, in and around Halloween time. Yeah. So it could be a big spectacle. I think that'll be really, really,
I think
really
it'd be
fun.
really fun as well. And everyone's already picked who they're playing.
Yeah. Give me one of them. Please. Hey, I want to show you Victor. Hey, look, he's my little guy.
Not that you have any respect for him, by the way. Not that you have any respect for Funko Pop Victor.
He's my little pal, and he arrived yesterday. Well,
You've beaten him up.
I pre-ordered him actually in December from HMV, and
A mother.
the other day I was just like, I wonder what's become of Funko Pop Victor because I haven't received him yet, and it still hadn't been dispatched. No.
No. Yeah. No, he's still in shot there. He's definitely still in shot there. There we go.
How do you know?
Yeah, I promise you.
Is he
He's still in shot. I
there?
promise he's still in shot. He's definitely still in shot.
I was like, I don't know. I don't know if he's been shipped yet, and he certainly hadn't been. But it turns out they were they were released everywhere. So I just refunded HMV and just bought it somewhere else
Pog.
for like £5 cheaper as well. So yes, he's my little guy.
My little dude.
And is there anything else?
I don't think so.
No, big thank yous.
We're streaming right now.
We are. We're streaming Baldur's Gate.
Probably playing some Baldur's Gate.
I think we're playing some Baldur's Gate right now.
It's a lot of fun.
We've
Come
just
and
done
hang out.
Cazadors. Well,
Yes.
I think we're probably out of the Steel Foundry now at this point.
Yeah, because we're playing tonight.
Yes.
And we're filming yesterday for you.
Yes.
So we're filming Sunday. So
Yeah.
we're playing after this.
Yeah.
I am really excited to.
But come see us. We're playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now.
There was a fight in the Steel Foundry that everyone was like, "Ooh."
And it did suck.
It wasn't easy,
Yeah.
but we did destroy it.
We did
Destroy it.
But I think
we focused fire and we destroyed it.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't think of anything else.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for the support you've given the channel. Thanks so much for the support you've given these new videos.
Thank you.
It feels really good to be able to do these slightly shorter videos.
Definitely.
Next week will be a full podcast.
Yes, it will. Yes,
So
next week is a
prepare
full
yourself.
podcast. I think next week is Am I the Asshole as well, like a full Am I the Asshole podcast too.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's everyone's favorite. It's my favorite as well. So yes.
Thank you so much to all our patrons and YouTube members.
You have no idea how much we appreciate your support.
Gain exclusive access either on Patreon or become a channel member here on YouTube for perks like channel badges and emotes on YouTube.
You get 2 extra and exclusive monthly live streams, including a roundtable with a cast of our D&D actual play, The Ascension of Farador, for all of your burning questions.
As well as an intimate D&D advice live stream where we can answer your D&D questions in depth and one-on-one.
If you would like to support us directly and gain access to these perks, check the link in the description to go to our Patreon or simply click the join button here on YouTube.
Thank you.
Well, without any further ado,
What have you got for us today, Margaret?
so I found a story on Reddit. This had actually been posted to our subreddit, the Podblast subreddit.
Thank you, Teddy.
And yes, it was either Teddy or Liaxon. This was actually shared a little while ago, and I wanted to read it out on an episode of the podcast, but I could never find a proper place to do it. So now is this moment's time to shine.
Amazing.
And the title, I'm not kidding you, is simply, I hate my group.
Nice.
Hello, this is my first time posting here, but I really need to rant. I'm in a 5-person D&D group, 1 DM, 4 players, and I don't think I can play with them anymore. We're doing a pre-written campaign, and we have not focused on the plot for about 5 months now. I really like my character, so dropping might bum me out, but I don't know. I just wanted to ask if these behaviors in a group are normal, as this is my first ever D&D group. Now, I'd like to pose it to the audience. Do we think the 5 examples of this group's behavior and this DM's behavior are going to be normal?
I don't think so.
What do we think? If you had to go for 3 topics that you think would be a first player's reason to be like, is this normal? What do you think they'd be?
I think it would be, well, they've said that we don't get out. So being very erratic. Okay. I think would be one.
Yep.
I think lots of disagreements.
Okay.
Would be another.
All right.
Something like that.
Yep.
They're the things I would go for easier. They're the most obvious ones.
Hey, look, if any of you in the comments said main character syndrome, well, you'd probably be correct.
Okay.
So, number 1, they didn't say number 1, these are all bullet points, but I'm going to say number 1.
Okay.
The plot has shifted to focus specifically on just one player character and their backstory. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great.
For
Nice.
5 months. Perfect.
For 5 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I get for maybe a session or 2, but for 5 months is a lot.
Yeah. The person playing said PC interrupts sessions either to correct other players on how to roleplay their characters,
Nice.
or they just want to shift the narrative back to their PC.
Nice.
If whenever the narrative shifts away from the PC, the player texts our joint group chat during sessions asking us about how we feel about her character's choices.
Okay. Okay.
My character, I don't know what point this is. Point 4? Actually, there's far more than 5 examples. Point 4. My character has been blatantly ignored by other players and the DM, insulted by the NPCs and other PCs, and I end up sitting silently for the last hour of last session while the others talked about their backstories.
Great.
Point number 5. All players were given the opportunity to scope out new environments to look for any clues that may relate to their character quests or the main plot. All players were given permission to roll insight, whilst I was told that I could not. And finally, in a one-on-one conversation with a player, this person told me they liked my character, but my character was useless to the group, as this party was supposed to be made up of chaotic neutral characters, and I'm playing a neutral good character. Several other people have dropped out of this campaign, and the DM and the other players talked badly about those who left and how their characters were, just as mine was, completely useless.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I should do, and they are planning on running a long session this weekend, and I really don't want to go, but I am worried that I'm going to miss out. These people have been my friends for years, and this is the only way they still communicate with me. If ever we are not playing, the rest of them travel large distances to see each other, but I have never gotten an invite. Is this all in my head, or does this suck?
No, this sucks.
Yeah, no, this sucks.
This sucks. I think there may be a case of just trying to push you away.
Yeah, totally.
Now.
Totally.
And instead of just, owning their shit and being like, hey, I don't think you fit in with the group anymore or something like that. And, as we've grown up, we've drifted apart, whatever it is. Like, they obviously don't want to tell you that, but they're really indirectly trying to. They're giving you the sauce that they gave the people who left.
Yeah.
Oh, their characters were useless. And then they turn to you and they say, your character's useless.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah.
you're supposed to then, like, absentmindedly feel like the people who've been kicked already.
Yeah.
So you leave, I think.
Yeah. First of all, to be clear, none of this behavior is normal or
None
good.
of this behavior.
None of it. None of it.
Like, whether or not that's what they're trying to do or not, it's still not good.
Yeah.
It's still not good.
And it's not normal.
No.
Like, these things should not be happening in a D&D game. Like, everyone being able to have the ability to scope out stories, but you're not allowed to. That's not normal. Being blatantly ignored and insulted and then having to sit there silently, not normal.
Not normal.
If the narrative shifts away from one player, them messaging you in the group chat as you're playing, asking questions about their character.
Hey, what do you think about my character?
Is not normal.
I think you don't like them because you don't want to talk about them for 5 hours straight every week. I'm getting a little insecure about the fact that we're talking about anything but my character.
And then
I think we should talk about my character a little bit more.
And the person interrupting roleplay to correct all the other characters on how their characters should roleplay. Not normal. And I cannot stress this enough. One character being focused on in a whole story, unless previously agreed upon between everyone, is not normal.
And I get that every now and then you're going to focus on individuals. Like when people's backstories come to a head, when people's backstories were like in the thick of it, you're going to focus on the character.
Yeah.
Like people are going to turn to that character and be like, hey, look, it's your family, it's your life, it's your story, it's your character arc. Like, what do you want to do? I get that sometimes we get the limelight, but for 5 months, that's like my entire game so far. We just focused on one person.
Yeah, that's way, way, way too long.
And then the moment you don't, they're like, hey, why aren't we focusing on my character?
And then turning all the attention to their character in the group chat. Yeah, that's I seriously, OP. None of that is normal, but I think what you said in the beginning of, I think this group are just trying to get you to leave by any means necessary.
Instead of talking to you.
People will do anything but communicate.
People will do anything but talk about their feelings.
Literally anything. Anything but go to therapy. Like, these people, if they don't want you to play for whatever reasons, whether they are valid to you, invalid to you, it doesn't matter. They should be communicating with you rather than, I think, trying to ice you out is
Yeah,
what's,
they're
is
trying
what's
to ice
happening
you out.
here, I think.
And, you know, you have been privy to the conversations where they have said, oh, this person who's left their character was useless. And then they're using that same verbiage to you. I think on purpose. I think intentionally. And, you know, the fact that they all travel so far to go and meet up with each other, but you don't even get an invite.
Yeah. Like,
but the fact that you know about it means they've probably talked about it in front of you, but never invited you.
Yeah.
I just think, you know, this is completely on them, and this isn't about them. This is about you. But they really need to figure out how to communicate effectively instead of just skirting around all of these topics.
This is, I feel like this is really quite cruel. Like, we've all been that person where, you know, the friendship group doesn't, and I'm not saying, OP, that this is exactly what's happening here.
We're just speculating.
I can only talk on my experiences, but I've been in a position like this where I've been in a friendship group, and I kind of felt bad about the friendship group, and I knew that something was going on, but because someone hadn't communicated directly to me what was actually happening, was they were trying to ice me out. It's a horrible, horrible feeling not knowing where you stand with your friends, and we've all been here, I fear. And granted, this was in my teenage years. This is when I was young. Like,
we don't know how old the people in the story are. It might be exactly that.
But even then, like, when you simply just try to get someone to get the picture, sometimes people need communication.
Yeah, sometimes people need to be told.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't good at picking up on signs. People aren't good at, you know, reading the room. People aren't good at taking the hint.
Yeah.
So people need to be told. And the fact that these people aren't telling you what I don't know, but what I think I know is just, in my opinion, it's extremely childish behavior.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this group was young, like teenage, early adults.
I hope the group is young.
God, if these are full adults,
this is a group of adults,
this is embarrassing.
This is embarrassing. Yeah, it is.
Like, there's no way you should be acting like this.
Like, it's okay to decide that you don't want to play with someone anymore.
Yeah.
It's okay if you go, this person doesn't work in the group for whatever reason, but you have to communicate it, because the thing is, this person's still going to D&D sessions
every week,
and it's like, well, I'm still being invited back, so they must still want to play with me, and then they get treated like this, and man,
it's like these people are like hoping, it's like, oh, please, like, I'm gonna treat this person so badly, like, hopefully they get that this is the week that they quit.
Because I'm too much of a coward to say how we really feel. And it's people who use you as the scapegoat.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the bad guy by having a conversation, which is a hard conversation.
Yeah, it's not an
There's
easy
no way around
conversation.
it.
I get that, but
people just want to be the scapegoat. People just don't want to be the bad guy. And they hope that they're like, well, if they leave, it's on them. When it's not. It's entirely on you. If you force someone out of a friendship group like this, or a D&D group, is completely on you forcing them out.
And I feel like we're just waiting for this person. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I would blow up.
I would
if I
too,
was treated like this, I would go
too.
Crazy. I would be like shouting and being like, why are you treating me like this? Why don't I get to do this? Why do you never invite me? It would all like boil up to a point.
And it does. Like, resentment does.
That's what these people want, because then they're like, oh, we're going to kick you out, actually, because like that behavior.
Whoa, that was crazy.
Like, that's crazy. I can't believe you'd act like that. It's like they're praying for you to blow up. They're praying for you to like crash out.
So they have an excuse to
get rid of you.
When, like, hey, you don't need an excuse to not play D&D with someone anymore.
Yeah.
To be clear, you don't need an excuse. It's okay to go just on your gut feeling and your feelings alone.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for some crazy excuse. You can just talk to someone. And the thing is, again, this is all speculation. I have no idea at all what OP's done. From what we've heard, OP's simply just playing the game.
Yeah.
And the DM's playing favorites with a specific player, and that player's being a dickhead about it.
But what I can't understand is why the other three players, so the other two players who aren't OP and who aren't the favorite child, who aren't going like, hey, are we going to play the game at some point?
Yeah, I know. OP's
coming to the internet for that reason and for many others. What are the other two people doing at the table? What are the other two people who aren't the favorite child?
Yeah, what are they doing?
Who haven't had like any backstory or any main character plot for at least 5 months, and then every single time that they don't talk about this person, they're getting messaged in the group. It's just like, are those two other people enjoying themselves?
Yeah, I know.
I can't imagine so.
Yeah.
So Like, why are they so keen to have a problem with OP, but not with favorite child?
Yeah, I
It's
know.
just
I
weird
agree.
behavior.
There is an edit. There is an edit to this. And it goes like this. Hey all, thank you for the support. I ended up not going to long session that they planned, but I do kind of feel bad for it. To make a long story short, they started diving into some of my character's quest without me, and I'm a little bummed that I missed it. I'm not sure how I should feel about it, as it kind of gives me hope that they do care about my character, but also makes me feel worse as they went through with it all with the knowing that I wouldn't be present. I've come to the conclusion that I think it's time to leave this group, but this is a whole ordeal and is now making me unsure again. Is this a good sign or a bad one?
Bad one.
It's a bad one.
It's a bad sign.
OP, it's a bad one.
Do you remember what I said earlier about your crash out?
Yeah.
This is another thing that this is another like bow that a string that they're adding to the bow of, see, we were gonna do these things for you.
But you didn't show up.
You didn't show up.
You didn't show up.
And
did
then,
ya?
I had all this plan for your backstory. It's just like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You did it intentionally because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So then when I leave, you don't look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
I waited 5 months to give you the long session that you deserve of your backstory. But what actually you did was you waited for me to not be there to then explore it.
Yeah.
So when I leave, you don't look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's all manipulation tactics.
This is so mean.
The one thing that you shouldn't do, Dungeon Master, when this person isn't there and hasn't had backstory for 5 months, is explore it when they're not there.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you did.
Like, there is no way. Like, especially if OP let them know beforehand. Again, we don't know if OP did let them know beforehand, but from what they say, they did this with the knowledge I wouldn't be present. Like, this isn't a coincidence.
It's intentional,
it
man.
simply can't be.
No.
If it's been 5 months of nothing, and it sounds like there was no sign of it moving on,
No.
why would you pick out of the 3 other players the person that's not there? Like, it's not a coincidence. And I would actually think maybe it could have been a coincidence for maybe a DM who is slightly newer, who doesn't know how to be a little bit more fluid with their planning. I can understand how that could actually be something that happens, but not with everything else.
Nah.
Like, not with absolutely everything else that OP has said in here.
And this is the thing, at this point, if it wasn't intentional, then fair, but you've given me so much evidence to believe that this was intentional.
Yeah.
Like, I just find it super hard to believe that it was intentional. It wasn't intentional.
I agree.
This was in my opinion, this is 100% intentional.
I agree.
And, when you do crash out or leave, they can basically be like, well, I did everything I could.
Yeah.
So it's just another manipulation tactic, I believe.
These people just sound like bad friends.
Dreadful friends.
Bad people to play D&D with. And I think this was posted a little while ago. And hey, look, I'm almost certain that this has been dealt with. And I'm not sure if OP will ever see this. But OP, if you ever do see this, I cannot stress enough how much the best thing for you to do is to leave this D&D group and reconsider if you want to be friends with these people. It's one of those things where when you stop reaching out to someone, do they make an effort with you? And I realize that is very nuanced. That is not as black and white as it sounds it is.
Yeah.
But look at your relationship. Are you the only one putting effort into it?
Yeah, it's just like, is the only reason that you guys are still friends because of you?
Yeah.
And if as soon as you stop trying, does the friendship crumble? Then it sounds pretty one-sided to me.
Yeah.
So I would reconsider the friendship. I would definitely leave the table. Oh my goodness gracious, within a heartbeat, I would leave the table.
Definitely.
But I would reconsider the friendship and actually think whether it's worth your time and worth your effort and worth your social battery.
Yeah.
Because they don't sound like great friends to me.
Yeah, I think in situations like this, kind of where OP at the end is like, is this a good sign or a bad one? Should I leave or should I stay? I think what I always like to ask whenever we do advice on stream or on the podcast is, could you see yourself, let's say you stay, and they do some of your character backstory, could you see yourself being okay with everything they've done previously, even though they've explored some of your character backstory? And let's say they explore your character backstory and things go back to exactly how it was before. Are you still enjoying yourself? Are you enjoying yourself at all, full stop? Would you even enjoy your character backstory being explored if you know this other person the whole time while you're in your backstory is going to be messaging your group chat about their character?
Yeah, like, hey, we've talked about your character far too much. I think we should talk about mine again.
Like, are you okay exploring your character backstory knowing that someone in your group has called you useless.
And I believe with my whole chest, you go back to this group, they're not going to touch your backstory again. They touched your backstory because you weren't there.
Yeah.
That was the reason they did it.
Yeah.
You go back, it's gonna go back to normal. They're not gonna touch on your backstory at all. I think that it was a tactic to, make themselves look better. So when you do leave,
like, it almost feels like a taunt. And I know that we are assuming the absolute worst at this point, but
they've given me no evidence to not.
From what OP has said at the very least, and I realize that two sides there's
two sides to every story.
But I think there's no reason to think otherwise at this point, and I feel so bad for OP.
I do.
This is so sad. This is so fucking mean, dude.
It's mean.
This is
bullying.
so mean. And the worst thing is, this isn't the first time we've heard a story like this. We if you didn't know, we do advice on our podcast. We also do advice every Friday on our stream, live on Twitch. And this isn't the first time we've heard a story like this. This is, oh my God, I can't even count how many times we've heard stories like this, where someone is obviously, in my opinion, being bullied because people don't want to play with them anymore. Yeah. And they've not been given the grace of clear communication around it. And it's so unfair.
If OP's doing something that you don't like, then let OP know. Yeah. Then that's the only way they can fix it.
You can't expect people to change if they don't know
what they've done.
And again, we have absolutely no idea if that's what's happened here, but I think some knowledge to some advice to impart on anyone who's maybe going through this. Yeah. Let's say you're a group of people who are playing with someone and you don't want to play with them anymore. Mm-hmm. That's okay. You're allowed to not want to play with someone anymore.
Yeah. But it's your time, it's your life.
Have to communicate this to them, because we've all been that person who has been hanging out with people who doesn't want to hang out with them, and it feels terrible when inevitably it all comes out because people haven't been telling the truth. The sooner you communicate these feelings, the sooner this person can either try to rectify their behavior,
try and change the thing that you dislike,
or you can just call it quits there without feelings getting too fraught.
Just wash your hands of each other, say goodbye for the
no. Oh, that's God. That's God.
Wash hands of each other, like, call it a day, go your separate ways. That's it. There's no bad blood. Like, we just aren't compatible as D&D players. We aren't compatible as friends anymore. It's totally fine. It doesn't need to be anything more than it is. Yeah. But if you let them know in the first place and they can change their behavior, then maybe you would be happier. Yeah. Like, but you're not doing that and you're not giving them the chance. Yeah. So
if you're a dungeon master, do not make one character a favorite. No. And the thing is, we're human beings. We all have a bias. Of course we do. Maybe you as the DM, you resonate more with the character's backstory, right? Maybe you have a bigger, grander idea for a character's backstory. You cannot play favorites as a dungeon master unless you say out loud to the group, which, again, this is totally valid. And you go, hey, I've got this one backstory. I really want to explore this. Is everyone cool with this? Some parties like having an appointed party leader. Yeah. It's like some parties do. And if you all come to that conclusion together, no problem.
No problem. That's totally fine.
But do not focus on someone's backstory for 5 months.
5 months.
5 months.
I get even maybe a month, maybe like 4 sessions if you play every week. I get it. Like, if you're in the middle of someone's arc, if you're in the middle of someone's story, I get it. But for 5 months.
Again, unless that's the pace at which your game goes at, and everyone understands that.
That's 20 sessions if you play weekly.
Yeah. But you never know. Maybe some people have games that go on for a decade. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if that's the case, but you have to take all of this with the context of the game you play. Yeah. But I would wager for the majority of tables, 5 months on one person's backstory
so long.
Is too long.
It's too long.
As a group, if there is someone who is trying to be the main character and you haven't all agreed that this is okay, or you've noticed that someone is going to other players and telling them how to roleplay their own character,
so minging.
You need to have a conversation with that player. I'm not putting the onus just on the DM for this. It's anyone in the group if you notice these behaviors. I think the Dungeon Master
should probably be the first person who talks to somebody.
Yeah.
Before it becomes a group-wide problem, the Dungeon Master should, say to that person who is becoming the main character, who is telling people how to roleplay, hey, don't do that. Hey,
Yeah,
stop that.
totally.
Hey, that's not good.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone plays the game differently and everyone role plays in a different way. So there's no one right way to role
God,
play.
especially role play.
Like,
Trying to tell someone how to role play their character.
Understand. I still think it's toxic, but I would understand way more in combat. You know, like the barbarian who just never uses their rage. Hey, why don't you rage?
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
like,
do you know what you get if you rage?
sometimes it can be like helpful to
Yeah.
like let people know and direct people.
But in role play?
in role play,
Like
how do you role play wrong?
Like, yeah, you can't.
You can't.
You quite simply cannot role play wrong. So if someone is showing those behaviors, that's not normal.
No.
And it's okay to try to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
If you're a player and you're in this position, if you're kind of OP and all of these things are pointing towards you're not being treated fairly, it is okay to either walk away or to try to talk to your dungeon master in your group about what's going on. It shouldn't be your responsibility to
No.
open up the conversation, but sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to because you know this dungeon master is saying everybody look for things to do in your backstories except you.
And then they're not letting you.
Like they clearly not get your best interests at heart. So you probably in this moment probably should talk to them.
Yeah.
But like, they shouldn't be doing that in the first place.
No, but it's okay. If you're feeling a certain way, if you're feeling like you're being treated unfairly, if your feelings are hurt over something, you are absolutely so entitled to be able to have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
If you think you can handle it. But if you've decided that they've treated me bad enough and I want to walk away, that's okay too. Because we've all been here. I hate to say it, but we've all been here. We've all been in a friendship group that we know isn't good for us.
Yeah.
But we hang around because we're too scared of the alternative of not being in the friendship group.
Yeah.
But take it from someone with experience. It's so much better for you overall not being in that group.
I agree.
Like it really, really, really is.
I agree.
So that's it. Anything you'd like to add?
No. I think we covered it pretty extensively. I think, you know, all of those things are good and what we probably should do. I think with this group, they've already shown their true colors.
I think this group's made their mind up.
I think this group's definitely already made their mind up.
Yeah.
They've already shown their true colors. They've already shown their intentions.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, like with all of the prior knowledge, doing your backstory when you're not there is just like kick me when I'm down.
Yeah, I know. It's
more
so
than anything.
fucking mean.
So, you know, like the question was, is it a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing for, you know, like take Critical Role Campaign 1. You know, like something's happening with Talison's backstory, Percy's backstory, and then Percy can't make it. Like Taliesin can't make it. He's ill. He's like just gone to a con and he's come back and he's really ill. So they just do a random side quest. It's just like, why didn't we? If everything was building up to this moment, which it wasn't, then you know this person could have been like, "Oh, they're gonna explore my backstory," but they didn't do that. They give you no signposting that it was gonna happen, and then they just did it because you weren't there. In my opinion,
like
so.
I just think this whole situation's so fucking mean.
Rancid.
And I really hope, OP, I hope you left.
Yeah.
I hope you're having a fruitful D&D adventure outside of this, and I hope you've left the friendship group too.
I agree.
But again, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. And you know what? The title, I Hate My Group, I don't fucking blame you.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Oh my God, I don't blame you.
I hate your group.
I hate your group for you. How about that?
I think I hate your group more than you hate your group.
Yeah, man.
But it's easier looking from the outside perspective because you're not emotionally connected to it. So
it is very much so.
Your group stinks.
Your group does stink.
Your group sucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry, OP.
Yeah.
Well, that is it. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. There is a full-length podcast episode coming out next week, which is going to be Am I the Asshole?
Poggers, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell. Thanks so much for all of the support. Make sure you come and check us out on Twitch.
We're streaming right now.
We're streaming right now. We're playing some Baldy G's. We're going to be doing some advice over the next week or so. If you want to support us any more than that, consider joining our Patreon. The link is in the description. If you want to become a YouTube member, they are exactly the same, Patreon and YouTube members. The join button is down below as well. It's a great way to support us. Thanks so much for being here. I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you so much that he hasn't even woken up.
He
wants to respect you so much that he's like, I couldn't possibly interrupt this podcast.
He hasn't moved once.
Thanks so much for being here, guys. I love you.
I love
Bully
you.
loves you. We've been the Eldritch Podblast. Bye.
And once again, another huge thank you to our patrons and our YouTube members, and a huge shout out to our entity tiers.
Hoobs,
Ariel,
Tula,
Runarian,
Arkham Labs cosplayer,
Maddie,
Luna,
Teddysaurus,
Caspian,
J-Spot TX,
Ultrafail,
Dallin M,
Sleepy,
Joe Dragonlord 2,
Alistar,
Lawkeeper Society,
Ricky B,
Catherine,
Fauskin,
Azuriel,
Panda Queen Plays,
Xylo Boy,
Lucas Iapetus,
Luna River,
Crestomancy,
The Tacos Are Here,
Hairy Godfather,
Rainanana,
Scrimbles,
CJ Chantel 1313,
Keplin 1000,
Pretend It's You Ace,
Leaxel,
Dana,
Captain Hades,
Slowby One,
Amelia A,
Rebecca K,
Banoffee Spy,
Tears of the Sun,
BH,
Crumley,
Dink Twin,
Light of Hearts,
Nathan W,
Timbo,
Melosaurus Rex,
The Nerdy Dreamer,
Stephen R.
Simple Gin.
Thank you all so much for the support. You have no idea how much it helps.
And if you too would like to become a patron or a channel member here on YouTube, click the link in the description or the join button down below.